Welcome back. Today's video blog subject will be about the sad saga of the Oakland A's to be the Las Vegas A's. But before I do this video blog, it's a word from a plug. Don't like Crystal's Time Machine on Facebook and YouTube and Twitter and Instagram, and listen to Crystal's Time Machine each and every Friday and Saturday night from 9 to 11 p.m. on WCAP 980, where everybody gets it. Crystal plays the music from the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. And now, on to this video blog subject. It's about the sad tale of the Oakland A's. The Oakland A's are a professional baseball team that plays in the American League West, and this year they're very, very pitiful. At the time of me recording this video blog, the A's only have won 12 games this season. That's horrific. And they're 23 games out of first place in the AL West at the time of this recording of this podcast. The A's are not even fielding a competitive team. It's basically a triple A team masquerading as a Major League Baseball team, which is not good for the game. And A's are on pace this year to lose over 110 games, which that's not good at all. Background on the history of the Oakland A's. They were one of the chartered members of the American League when it was formed in 1901. They started in Philadelphia. They were called the Philadelphia Athletics, short for A's. And for 50 years, they were managed by Connie Mack. And he also owned part of the team. And the Philadelphia Athletics won many world championships back in the 1910s and 1920s. I think they won 5 of them. And they had some Hall of Fame players like Al Simmons, Jimmy Fox, Lefty Grove, and so many others. And at the time, the Philadelphia A's were like the best baseball team in the city of Philadelphia because the Phillies were struggling. And at the beginning of World War II, there was talk that the Phillies were actually going to consider leaving Philadelphia. But after World War II, that Philadelphia A's bought him out, and it was so much turmoil with Connie Mack's family about the A's control ownership of the A's. The Phillies got better. 1950, the Phillies won the National League pennant, and A's were cellar dwellers, and then the fans in Philadelphia became Phillies fans. In 1955, the A's moved to Kansas City. That was the farthest west team in Major League Baseball at the time. But the A's did not have any success in Kansas City. They played in a municipal stadium, which was actually a minor league facility, which had to be upgraded to be Major League standards, which it wasn't good. The A's in Kansas City never had a winning season, and they were kind of like the de facto farm club to the New York Yankees because it seems like the Yankees and A's made trades so many times. Roger Maris was once a Kansas City A's, but he got traded to the New York Yankees. And in the early 60s, the Kansas City A's were bought by Charlie Finley. He did not like playing in Kansas City Municipal Stadium. He threatened to move the team each and every year to Louisville, to Dallas, Texas, to Seattle, Washington. Hey, he even considered playing the A's playing a year on a farm. This is serious. And the A's were actually kind of building a a team with decent minor leaguers like Reggie Jackson, Sal Bando, Joe Rudy, Bert Campanis, and Jim Catfish Hunter. In 1968, the A's moved to Oakland, the east side of the San Francisco Bay Area, in the Oakland Coliseum. And the A's, by the early 1970s, were a powerhouse in the American League. They won 5 straight AL West championships, and they made 3 World Series, 1972, 1973, and 1974. The A's won back-to-back World Championships, and Charlie Finley had some great ideas. He was a owner who suggested that they play World Series games at night. He also had a lot of the A's uniforms to be more colorful, like green and gold. He tried to introduce the orange baseball, but that turned out to be a flop. And in 1972, he gave players $500 bonuses if they grew mustaches, and they did. And also, the A's also had other good players during this period, besides the players I mentioned, like Vida Blue and Blue Oldham, and also Wally Fingers. And they had the only designated runner in MLB history during this time period, Herb Washington, who never played one game on the field or hit once. He was actually a world-class track runner. But Charlie Finley was very cheap. He ran the A's on a shoestring budget, and the front office staff on a shoestring budget. And by 1976, he didn't want to pay his good players big time money, so he tried to sell them off. He tried to sell Joe Rudy and Wally Fingers to the Red Sox, and he also tried to sell Vida Blue to the New York Yankees, but those deals were avoided by the commissioner of baseball at the time, Bowie Kuhn, for the best interest of baseball. Eventually, all those players left the A's, and the attendance at the Oakland Coliseum fell very low to about 800,000. Charlie Finley tried to sell the A's a couple of times to out-of-town investors. One, they were going to move to Denver, but it was blocked by Major League Baseball. 1980, they were sold to the Haas family, and A's in 1980 signed Billy Martin as manager, and the pitching staff during that time period threw a lot of complete games. But eventually, these pitchers' arms went dead a couple of years later because they threw so many innings back. Like the 1980s were the time where relief pitching was getting more important. And then the A's had a star player, Rickey Henderson, and the attendance at the Coliseum was decent. And 1985, Rickey Henderson went to the Yankees, but the A's were stockpiling on prospects, including Jose Canseco, Mark McGwire, Walt Weiss, Terry Steinbach, Bach, and a few others. They added Dave Henderson through a trade, and also they signed pitcher Dave Stewart off waivers, 1988 through 1990. The Oakland A's dominated the ALS, winning back-to-back ALS champions and 3 straight appearances to the World Series. They won the earthquake interrupted World Series 1989 against the San Francisco Giants in 4 straight. And they were also managed by Tony La Russa. But in the 1990s, economics caused the A's team to be split up because they couldn't afford to pay their players big-time contracts, or some of the A's players were aging out. And the A's continued to struggle at the gate. Attendance was like 10,000, and it was whispers about the A's trying to get a new ballpark. Around 1995, the Raiders, who originally were in Oakland, had moved to Los Angeles in 1982, moved back to Oakland in 1995, and the Raiders had to rebuild the Oakland Coliseum to add a lot more seats to make it a football stadium. They built Mount Davis, which just kind of made the A's stadium for baseball obsolete and outdated, and also the A's needed a new ballpark. And also around this time period, they hired Billy Beane as general manager, and he based baseball players for analytics, and it was called Billy Ball, Moneyball. And the A's were very, very competitive, winning several ALS championships in the early 2000s and having some good players like Jason Giambi, Miguel Tejada, the pitching staff, Barry Zito, Tim Hudson, and Mark Mulder, but they never won a division series. By the middle 2000s, all of those pitchers and players moved on because the A's couldn't pay them big time bucks because they were a small market team, and they were like looking for new stadium in the area. They tried Fremont, California. They had the Tito Cisco Field, but that plan never broke ground. They tried several different places in the Bay Area, Santa Clara, San Jose, but unfortunately the San Francisco Giants blocked the idea of the A's moving into their territory because the Giants claim that Santa Clara and San Jose is their territory. And the A's continue to have good competitive teams in 2010s, winning several division titles and making the playoffs, still using the Moneyball theory, but every good player the A's had, they eventually had to get rid of them because they didn't want to pay the big bucks. But then lots of ownership changes went from the A's until it got owned by John Fisher, and the A's did not even make any renovations to the Oakland Coliseum, or what they call it now, the Lane Central Coliseum. The Raiders had to move out of Oakland in 2019 to Las Vegas because of the stadium issues, because the Raiders didn't sell out in Oakland. And then and this is really when the A's needed to get a new stadium. They tried desperately hard in the Oakland area. Talks were at a snail's pace, and also at with the horror stories of the bathrooms not flushing or breaking, even the clubhouse when it would be inclement weather in the Bay Area, it would flood the clubhouse. And by 2022, the A's basically got rid of most of their good players once again and decided not to field a competitive team, and they lost over 100 games in 2022. And there was talks with the city of Oakland trying to get a new ballpark. It was going to be like a $2 billion complex, Howard Terminal in downtown Oakland. Depending what you hear, the talks were going smoothly or they were going at a snail's pace, but eventually the talks broke off, and then the A's ownership, John Fisher, announced he's moving the team to Las Vegas in 2025, and it's going to play in a new stadium in 2028 at Las Vegas. They have to play 3 seasons in the minor league ballpark. And the next 18 months in Oakland is a lame duck for the Oakland A's fans. It's very, very sad. There's very, very few hardcore Oakland A's fans, and attendance that goes under 10,000 almost every game. You gotta feel bad for those Oakland A fans who have to see the team each and every night lose, and having like most of the players basically triple A. They have if they were in any other organization, most of them would not be big leaguers, or they might be kind of fringe big leaguers, maybe getting called up here and there if there was an injury or whatever. And Major League Baseball should tell the Oakland A's just to field a competitive team in 2024, because that's the last year they are bound to play in the Oakland Coliseum or the Central Coliseum. And I can tell you that right now, if they play 2024 in Oakland, I bet there'd be less than 5,000 people going to the games each and every night. It's just so pitiful. It's sad. It's sick. Major League Baseball should not allow this, but they can't. There's no rule that says that they could do anything about it. It's a competitive disadvantage for some of these teams who play in the ALS. Most of them, they get a lot of wins by playing the A's the past couple of years. It's just sad. And once baseball's gone from Oakland, they're not coming back, and the Ring Central Coliseum is bound to be destroyed, like torn down. And most likely that area will probably be repurposed for a kind of a village type setting in Oakland, with a lot of mixed with retail space, office space, labs, and lots of luxury apartments that most people could not afford. And thanks for watching this YouTube video. I'll be back next week, Monday and Tuesday, exclusively with 2 more videos. Bye now.